Sanat Jayasuriya just declared as the most valuable player of the Wills World Cup, who won a car for his effort.
Just a reminder, this is a 50 overs a side match. Maximum of 10 overs for any one bowler. There was a threat of a delayed start today, but fortunately the rain has held off. It's just a little gloomy looking at the moment. That'll give us an idea of the pace of the outfield. The rope is in well away from the hoardings. Oh, that didn't look bad.
Well, a good effort, but perhaps Asanka Kurusena left it till the very end, wasn't able to get the ball back within the boundary. And Mark Taylor, who played so positively against the Indians and against Zimbabwe, once again playing a very, very positive shot. That foot right to the pitch of the ball, and the bat coming through very nicely.
Right-hand, left-hand combination poses problems for bowlers. Doesn't matter how good they are, they just have to change their line and sometimes their length as well. And these two have done the job, not just in these matches, but also in other matches for Australia. Just finding it a little bit disconcerting for the bowlers. 6 from that first over. Australia on their way.
Very good start there from Australia. 6 off the first over. Mark Taylor and Mark Waugh have done a great job for them at the top of the order during this World Cup. That's the Australian side, unchanged from what did so well in the quarterfinals and semi-finals. Now the Sri Lankan side, they've got a very strong batting lineup as well, headed up by Jayasuriya, Kaluwitarana, and then their bowlers. Only 2 fast bowlers in this Sri Lankan side. We just saw Vic Ramasinghe bowl the first over, and he'll be joined by the man who's bowled particularly well for Sri Lanka in this World Cup, Chaminda Vaas.
Six for no wicket, and it's going to be Chaminda Vaas on the second over. He'll be bowling from umpire Shepherd's end. Tony Gregg was pointing out that this is the first time they've played under lights on this ground, and it's certainly a change from the ground I saw here so many years ago. It's a very nice stadium now, not too big, but it'll hold, I reckon they could push it and get 40,000 in. Imran Khan was saying when he was talking with Ravi Shastri out in the centre that he thought there'd be a bit of swing there. Well, if anyone's going to swing the ball, it'll be Chaminda Vaas, who's turned in some excellent performances in this competition.
He's also used the angle to bowl across to the right-hander very well, kept the batsman guessing.
That's perfectly illustrated with that ball. He speared it across and had the batsman playing away through gully. They've always been difficult, these left-armers over the wicket to right-handers. Some of them cut the ball away, some of them actually swing it away, which is difficult to do. certainly pose problems. Some batsmen of international standard have even had to change their batting styles to accommodate them.
And there is that natural outswinger that the left-hander bowls. That's the one that right-handers find more difficult to look out for, particularly if the bowler is angling the ball away. They have to think about whether to leave that ball or whether it will nip back in.
In the first 15 overs, only 2 men are allowed outside that fielding circle. And in this case, it's a man down at deep third man, another one at deep fine leg. Fairly wide, he's around about 45 degrees. And the man at deep third man is in the line of where a normal gully would be. Taylor's in form with both the cover drive and the pull shot.
Well, Taylor's obviously got a hang of the wicket very quickly, because while the earlier over saw him play the drive, this time he's picked the bounce very early and pulled it away for a boundary. It's very important for batsmen to get a measure of the wicket very quickly. Taylor seems to have done that in 2 overs.
Take the single there, and that takes it along to 12 for no wicket. 2 overs gone.
A design unlike any other is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Introducing a design you've never seen from a name you know well. The all-new V6 Ford Taurus Kia. Now it's your turn to be inspired.
Batsmen still to come for the Australians. Ricky Ponting, Steve Waugh, then Stuart Law and Michael Bevan, each of whom played in such splendid fashion in Chandigarh the other evening. And Shane Warne, Paul Rifle, then Fleming and McGrath. This is Vikramasinghe.
Vikramasinghe already finding a bit of a problem trying to get his line right. He's bowling at the left-hander's pads, which would be just the right line for the right-hander.
Talking about the partnerships these two have shared, Mark Waugh and Mark Taylor. They've actually opened 15 times, which is not many when you consider the number of limited overs internationals played. But they averaged just under 50 for each of their partnerships, which is pretty good going. 3 centuries, and their best 189 against this same side in Perth. Sri Lankan skipper. And in this World Cup, they've been 5 times together. Average is not as good, it's around 31. The best they did was 83 against Kenya, but very, very purposeful and good-looking pair of opening batsmen. Ranatunga is taking a bit of a gamble here, given the Australians' first use of what looks to be a very good batting pitch, although it's unlikely to deteriorate. Singh, the man who'll be batting at number 3 for Sri Lanka in the foreground. As the history of World Cup finals is that the side batting first has won each of them, going back to 1975. The gambling instincts have taken over, but still, Ranatunga's gambled with lots of things so far in this World Cup, and they've come off.
This is the one gamble that he would want to come off, Rishi. This is the finals. And of course, Ranatunga has got very good reasons to try and chase. He's got a tremendous batting lineup.
15 for no wicket after 3. To Mark Taylor, 2 to Mark Waugh. 3 overs gone, so the run rate is okay. I think the Australians would need something in excess of 250. It's unlikely any moisture's got on the pitch from the rain, so it's probably the pitch is so hard that brought about Taylor slipping.
Taylor is perhaps batting without any spikes. A lot of batsmen tend to use spikes only in the front of their boots, not at the heels.
In the swinging mood. Good enthusiasm and cheering what hopefully will be a very, very good final. Both these teams have played wonderfully well in different ways to get to this day. Bit high, but it's worth a little clearing of the throat at this stage. Take a few of the nerves away.
Also distract the batsman's attention from going for a leg by. But yes, it was a bit high. Taylor is now trying to work the ball away. He's got 2 boundaries, so he thinks that he can take the initiative now, try and score as many as possible. Not too many dot balls.
Talking about the captains who've decided to bat or field in previous World Cups. That's the way the results have gone. The very first one at Lord's, West Indies beat Australia in what was one of the great games you could ever see. And in 1979, West Indies won again, but India downed them in 1983 at Lord's in what was a very good match. India played brilliant cricket there. Then Australia won here, winning at Eden Gardens in 1987. Pakistan won at the MCG in 1992. Always nice to look back on those scores in previous cup finals. That one at Lord's was one of the longest games ever. Still exciting at the end, with crowd rushing on, Thompson and Lilly batting to try to run a 12 where none existed. And that's the way they've all happened up to this one. That outfield is quite fast, no problems there. It's 17 for no wicket.
Fantastic news
from Telstra.
Introducing Telstra Smart Saver Flexi Plan. Save 15% if you spend $15 or more per month on STD and 0011 international calls.
I can save 15% when I call anyone in Australia.
Anywhere in the world?
Anyone, anywhere, anytime. No fees.
This plan is definitely for me.
Smart Saver, another great reason to be with Telstra. To save, phone 1800 052 052 and join now.
The Australians have got off to a good start. Mark Taylor looking the more confident, but then he's had more of the strike. Mark Waugh generally starts very slowly, but then his strokes start flowing once he gets his eye in.
I think the 3 boundaries that have been hit, a very good indication that this could be a high-scoring game if the players play to their potential and to the way the pitch looks.
Yes, it does look like a very good batting wicket. The pace is there, and there's a lot of even bounce as well, and which will only mean that there's going to be a lot of hard work for the bowlers. They really won't get much help from this wicket, and if the batsman has to get out, it'll be only because he's over-ambitious.
Not only does the outfield look fast and relatively unaffected by the rain, which was very heavy at about 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock this morning. There's lightning coming through my window and a bit of thunder as well. It wasn't quite what we wanted to hear. Of the 22 on the board so far, Taylor has 12. $15 balls to 11 for Taylor against Mark Waugh. Umpire's just adjusting Arjuna Ranatunga's position at short mid-wicket in the catching position. And beautifully placed. Wasn't a bad ball, but it was given some fierce treatment by Taylor. It swung late.
Once again, an indication of how good this pitch is. And look at the pace at which the ball has gone after Taylor has hit it. It's bounced just outside the pitch area and then carried on straight to Muralidharan at backward point.
There's some wonderful technology in television for sport these days. That super slow-mo camera gives you a wonderful view of Vikramasinghe holding the seam upright, and it goes down the pitch staying upright. That's why it swung late and then kept on coming into the left-hander. Take a single to take it along to 23 for no wicket off 5.
Now out here, it's easy to see what damage the sun's rays can do to an unprotected surface. So it's the perfect place to demonstrate the protective qualities of Armour All. We'll apply it to all vinyl, plastic and rubber surfaces and leave it out here for 30 days.
See, no fading, no cracking. Even on the
Armour All, it's 15 plus protection for your car.
Right down the bottom of the Australian order, McGrath and Fleming and Rifle, 3 men bowling quickish medium pace. Will be very important to Mark Taylor. 23 for no wicket, 5 gone, 50 over a side final.
The restriction of having 2 fielders in catching positions and only 2 outside the circle have certainly changed tactics as far as opening batsmen are concerned. They no longer want to take the first few overs to settle down. They actually want to get going from the first ball. And that's why we've seen such high scoring games in recent times. That's because the opening batsmen lay the foundation and the lower order batsmen can then just throw their bats around, keep the momentum going.
Beautiful stroke. Played with delightful ease. He really only just hooked it around, didn't smash it.
Yes, he picked it up very early. He picked it up as the one that Chaminda was angles across to the right-hander, but it was the ball coming into the left-hander. And he just helped it along. Not too much of power in it, just a little bit of guidance as far as the direction is concerned. And it's another boundary to Mark Taylor. He really is batting with a lot more confidence than Mark Waugh is at the moment.
Mark Taylor will have gained in confidence from that match against the West Indies in Chandigarh, even though he didn't make any runs with the bat. The question of winning the match from such a position gives you an enormous psychological boost for whatever else you're about to do, which in this case is open the innings in the final. There are some teams who'll be feeling very sad, ones who've played in this World Cup and are not here in Lahore at the moment. West Indies would be one of them. India, Pakistan. We've been reading plenty about those losses and how awkward it is for the players. Oh, that's a good shot. Well, Taylor's in the mood, and it's now gone on to 31 for no wicket. 6 overs have gone through.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ansett Australia is proud to be a major sponsor of Australian sport.
Most engines run on a single cam. A Toyota Camry, however, has twin cam action to produce more power from less fuel.
Oh, what a feeling, twin Camry!
31 on the board, averaging 5 and over. Vikramasinghe will be the bowler. Vikramasinghe is at the college end. 2 ends here, college and pavilion. All set with the field placing. The slipper's gone. There's a gully and a short mid-wicket. got 2 there, but it was almost only 1.5. Moore was on his way back on a perfectly straight line. And just the single this time. And also time to say a very good afternoon to Ranger Fernando.
Hello, Richie. This certainly is a great day for Sri Lanka cricket, probably the greatest day in the sporting history of Sri Lanka. Every Sri Lankan all over the world, no doubt, following the fortunes of Sri Lanka in this match, and Ranatunga carrying their aspirations. Ranatunga, no doubt, pinning his hopes on the fact that Sri Lanka are good at chasing. Of course, he has to consider that the Australians too are best at defending. So the Sri Lankans would have to contain the Australians to a great extent.
Looks a good pitch. Outfield, considering that rain, in excellent shape. As long as we have no further rain, we want to be very happy. The weather is actually coming from the east here, and there's a bit of a breeze sweeping it across. If the breeze stays up, then we could be in good shape. Now, Sri Lanka into the final, and they have said that they would like to be the #1 team, that's at Test match level, in the world by the year 2000. This, I would imagine, would be something of a stepping stone for them.
No doubt this is going to help Sri Lanka in a great way to get to their objective of being the best team in the year 2000.
Well, that's good fielding. There have been 3 balls so far where the batsman might just have got a second, but Dharamasena was round there very, very swiftly.
Fielding, no doubt, is going to play a vital role in this World Cup final, and Sri Lanka will have to raise their fielding by a peg of 2 in order to match the brilliance of the Australians, who have been absolutely flawless in this competition.
Timing there for Mark Ward, just a gentle push wide of the man at gully. It takes it along to 36 for no wickets. 7 overs have gone.
One.
Mark Taylor's moving along very smoothly. He's on 22. Mark Waugh on 12. And in the commentary box now, Ian Chappell. Alongside him will be Jeffrey Boycott.
Thanks, Richie, and hello to all of our viewers. Very good start for Australia. In the air and straight down Jayasuriya's throat. So that's a terrific breakthrough for Sri Lanka. Mark Waugh, as I mentioned before play started, if he bats for a reasonable amount of time, Australia are always going to set a big target. So that's a blow for Australia and a boost for Sri Lanka.
Yes, I think any early wicket's a good wicket, but this one in particular is a huge one for Sri Lanka. Very quick scoring batsman, elegant player Mark Waugh, and been in top form. So they'll think they've got the biggest wicket they could get. 36 for 1 Australia.
Ted, you in here?
Try sponsorship, Nico.
What are you doing here?
Well, we look after more than just cable and networks, like sport's biggest names.
They don't get much bigger than the Titans.
G'day, guys.
Or the Dolphins.
Hi.
Hi.
The Hockey Roos here. They're all part of another team. Whoa!
Australia's Olympic team.
Yep, which we also sponsor.
Hi, fellas. Talk about advanced company.
Hey, we are an advanced company.
It doesn't get dirty.
This is personal with him.
Than down on the walls.
It's a matter of who gets what information first. And it better be us.
The highest quality Australian drama.
Ricky Ponting, coming in at number 3, has 2 centuries to his name at this level. And one of them is against Sri Lanka, made at the MCG on the 9th of January this year. That's the 123 you see there. He came in, and Australia were, well, they weren't in great strife when he came in, but they lost a couple of wickets. He played extremely well. His other 100 was against the West Indies at Jaipur. Plays pace bowling very well, Ricky Ponting. Runs quickly. And he comes in at the fall of Mark War's wicket. Mark War looking at the pitch as he walked off, as though the ball didn't quite come on to him.
I just think it's one of those balls that you flip at and get there a little bit too early. When you do that, you tend to look at the pitch and blame anything but yourself, but I just think he got into that a little early and then just chipped it up in the air rather than waiting for the ball a little bit.
Well, it's been that sort of World Cup for this man, Jayasuriya. He seems to be the right man in the right place. When he hasn't been thrashing attacks all over the park, as in the semi-final when he missed out, got a naught, but suddenly Jayasuriya was bobbing up, throwing the stumps down, taking catches and getting wickets, and he was awarded the trophy, the Audi, for the most valuable player of the tournament. So it's been one of those sorts of tournaments where he just seems to be in the right place at the right time. Sri Lanka will be hoping that his form is good this evening. Charminder Vas asking the question. Umpire Shepherd says no.
Yes, I don't think there was any doubt about this. It moved off the seam. You see it pitching and going down leg side. Look where the keeper's going. You can expect a bit of excitement. Bowlers are going to appeal for everything early on in the game.
Very quick call there from Mark Taylor. Umpire Shepherd quickly into position in case there was a throw to the bowler's end stumps. I was reading in this morning's press, the local press, where Umpire Shepherd said that he'd been in training for this World Cup tournament. He said he'd been drinking half pints instead of pints. That was his training. I love his training regime. Inside edge onto that one. A wicket maiden for Charminder Vas. Australia 37 for 1.
So Australia.
Well, that wicket of Mark War has also got the crowd buzzing. The crowd had been a little subdued. Capacity of around about 28,000, 28,500 according to the local ground staff. They were in quite good voice before the game. Just needed something to liven them up. That wicket has certainly done it.
Yes, I think the way the pitch is played, it looks very good, is that taking wickets I think is going to be very important for Sri Lanka. You expect Australia to score quite a few runs on this very flat surface, but if you can keep taking an odd wicket as you go along, it might just slow them down so that the total they get is kept into reasonable proportions.
Yes, as good as they are at chasing Sri Lanka, I don't think in the wide world that they want to be chasing well, much above 260. I think it's all right to get 270 in a qualifying match and get it pretty comfortably as they did against India, but final, well, I don't know, it's not quite the same.
Yes, I agree with that, Ian. I felt in this World Cup the pitches on the whole have been that good that 250 is not a big deal to chase. 260ish, once it gets over that, well, it's just that little bit too far, a little bit of a bridge too far.
And you are also trying to defy history in winning by batting second. No team has done it yet in the World Cup. We've had 5 previous World Cups, and the victory on each occasion has gone to the side batting first. So Arjuna, on winning the toss, decided that he was going to try and defy history. It's been quite a remarkable rise in 21 years for Sri Lanka. If you think back to 1975, the first World Cup, their first game was against the mighty West Indies in those days. They got absolutely hammered, bowled out for somewhere in the 80s, Sri Lanka, and West Indies got them comfortably. In fact, the West Indies almost cost themselves a spot in the finals by sending Sri Lanka in on that occasion. Now, 21 years in your lifetime, I guess, sounds like a long time. But people must realise, Jeffrey, 21 years isn't a long time in a new cricket team's nation, in their history, and I think they've done very well to come this far.
Yes, I think it would be just put the icing on the cake a bit if they could win the World Cup. My heart says it would be good for cricket if Sri Lanka won, but my head's told me all along that Australia would be my favourites, and I still fancy them, and most Australians will, but I think it would be good for cricket if they could make it and win it. Oh dear, I think he'll need another ball for that. I think it does take a long time as well for players and teams to get to grips with the big game at the top level. I mean, Zimbabwe, who've just come in the last few years into Test match cricket, it'll take them a while to really start playing the top teams on an equal level and feeling comfortable that they can beat them.
Ravinder De Silva coming around from mid-on. It's a better over from Vikramasinghe. It's 41 for 1. 24 to Mark Taylor. Ricky Ponting on 1. Australia 41 for 1, having lost Mark Waugh for 12. That first match that we were talking about, their first ever World Cup match against the West Indies, Sri Lanka back in 1975, 86 all out, and the West Indies 87 for 1 at Old Trafford. West Indies, as I mentioned, they looked like being defeated by Pakistan later on in the World Cup, which would have put them out. They had a remarkable last wicket partnership and finished up winning the 1975 World Cup. So that was the beginning for Sri Lanka, not an auspicious beginning. And really, they haven't done a lot in World Cup since then until this one.
Yes, I fancy an important factor for Sri Lanka today will be their spinners. You see there the figures. They don't tell lies, figures don't lie, they tell you the truth. 4 wins, 20 losses, 75 to 92. But I think that they now play so well with the spinners. Vasa's bowled particularly well, but the other seaman, whoever's played for them, has not been special. This lad's bowled excellent, good line length, picked up the odd wicket, but the spinners have done a lot. There are 3 major spinners, plus a fill-in off spinner from De Silva, and they bowled on pitches that have been a little bit receptive to spin. Some have been a lot receptive. So it's going to be important when the spinners bowl today for Sri Lanka, whether they get much turn. He's a key man as well, Jayasuriya, left-arm spin. It's so wide, he just threw everything at it. Pitches on, running across and bang. He's got to keep it fairly straight and tuck up the right-handers a little bit.
Plays pace bowling extremely well, Ricky Ponting. Not a bad player of spin bowling, but like many top-order players, he plays spin bowling better if he's got 20 or 30 on the board before the spinners come on. Probably not a bad move to get a spinner on now to him. Perhaps one of the off spinners, Murali, because you not only get at Ricky Ponting when he's most vulnerable, but you might also pick up Mark Taylor, because he's been stumped a few times off spinners. So you might well, you're giving yourself double the chance if you bring an off spinner into the attack pretty quickly. It's 45 for 1. First wicket fell at 36 for Australia. Mark Waugh out for 12. Caught Jayasuriya, bowled Vas. Mark Taylor is on 24. He's been very aggressive form. Mark Taylor, 4 boundaries. And really going after the Sri Lankan bowlers. Fine leg is up now. They've got a deep backward square. Sri Lanka, we've been looking at their history in the World Cup. So they were last in their group in 1975, a group of 4. That was their first World Cup. To be expected, they were in with 3 senior countries. 1979, third in group of 4. So last in 83 and 87. That was in the group of 4. And there was a change in the format in the last World Cup, 1992, South Africa being a late inclusion. So there were 9 teams. All teams played each other, and Sri Lanka finished 8th in that group. They beat Zimbabwe in a battle of the bat, both sides scoring over 330. So that would be the team that they finished ahead of, Zimbabwe. They didn't finish ahead of any of the test-playing nations at that stage. In fact, Sri Lanka in 92 were a test-playing nation. So it's been a big turnaround for Sri Lanka. Just 4 victories from 1975 to 1992. That includes 5 World Cups. And in the 6th one, 5 out of 5, which includes 2 forfeits, the West Indies and Australia forfeiting to Sri Lanka. Murali, I guess he'll be looking forward to this contest, as have all the Sri Lankan players. They've said ever since their tour of Australia that they want a crack at Australia on the subcontinent. Well, they've got their wish, and they've got it in the final. Let's see if they're good enough now to back up that wish.
Didn't time that particularly well, Ricky Ponting, but you could see from the type of stroke that anything with width, he just threw the bat at it. I still feel it's so important the spinners aren't out of the attack for too long. If the spinners can get it to turn, they'll be a vital factor for Sri Lanka.
That might be the problem for them, Jeffrey. I'm not sure it's going to turn too much out there. Wide called by umpire Buckner. He's a good bowler, Wickramasinghe, but he's a bit inconsistent. He bowls some good deliveries, but unfortunately too many bad ones thrown in.
Yes, you can get away with an odd one down leg side like this in a test match, but his accuracy for one-day cricket just lets him down a bit. He was the same in the semi-final. He was just not quite as good as Vas at the other end.
That's beautifully hit, just inside the rope. Lovely timing, and brings up the 50 for Australia.
A design unlike any other is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Introducing a design you've never seen from a name you know well. The all-new V6 Ford Taurus Kia. Now it's your turn to be inspired.
.25 to Mark Taylor, 11 to Ricky Ponting. Ponting with a couple of boundaries and looking particularly aggressive. Taylor also, he tends to set the pattern in the Australian team, and he leads by example. He's come out in a very aggressive frame of mind. Shaman Devas is going to continue. Might be time for a change at the other end. That's at the college end. That's why the man has been put back. Gurusingha. Now he threatened, and it's cost Sri Lanka a run. Shouldn't be threatening from 70 metres. You should be throwing the ball in.
Yeah, not good that. He did a nice pick-up, one-handed, and then he forgot to let the ball go. Just trying to bluff the batsman. There he is, you see, took an extra step to get on balance, and it was all they needed. They sprinted for another run.
Well, that's gone. 6 it is, the first one of this World Cup final.
Well, this was short. Easy to hit, and he smacked it out of the ground. I mean, that was short of a length. I've no doubt in my mind they're going to have to bowl a spinner. That's halfway down the pitch, that. But they've got to change the tempo for the Australians. They've got seamers coming at either end, and they're just hitting through the ball when it's up, standing back and pulling it. And you've got to make them think a bit differently. You've got to get their top order off spinner into the game, I think.
Leg bye signalled by umpire Shepherd. Just been handed a stat that says that Sri Lanka have never lost a match against India in all World Cup matches. They've played 4 times. There was 1 no result, and Sri Lanka have won the other 3. Maybe India have lulled them into a false sense of security. They've chased and won against India in the league match, and then bowled India out. Should I say they would have bowled India out if the crowd had allowed them in Calcutta to win.
Well, I know they've chased well, and almost anybody who watches cricket knows that they chase well, they feel comfortable, but if they're good at throwing the bat at the ball, batting second, why not be even better batting first when there's less pressure on you? If you bat really well, with the openers like them getting a good start, you can bat the other side out of the game. You get so big a score that it's just too much for them chasing.
And good opportunism there from Mark Taylor as soon as he saw the ball get past the bowler. The other thing that you do, Jeffrey, in that situation, if you do get a very big total, you immediately improve your bowlers, because that means the opposition batsmen have got to be coming at them all the time. If they bowl half well, they've got to pick up some wickets.
Yes, and that's why I think once you're chasing against Australia, I think Shane Warne becomes a big factor, because you're trying to get 5 or 6 and over against him. A lot of batsmen are struggling to get 3 and over, and he's also taking wickets as well. I think it makes Shane Warne an even bigger factor when you're chasing under enormous pressure. 64 for 1.
Nice stadium here in Lahore, which the little bit that I've seen of it looks to be quite a nice city. It's a big stadium, the crowd well back from the boundary. That may be by design. It's a long way from the crowd to the boundary rope, which might be a good thing if people decide they want to throw things. And we do have the off spinner coming on now at the college end. In fact, we don't. It's still Vikrama Singh.
Maybe the off spinner doesn't like that end. He wants to bowl with the breeze. He's really going probably the wrong way from him. He wants to bowl from the dressing room end, this pavilion end. A nice little breeze there. He might want to spin it in and drift it away from the right-hander.
So I'm not surprised if he has asked for the other end, because I watched him bowl when the players were warming up before the match, and he bowled from the college end, and he had quite a breeze behind him. I was just watching the ball out of his hand, and he wasn't getting much loop. Yet in Australia, he looked like he was really dropping the ball quickly on the batsman. I would have thought he's the type of bowler, Murali Dhuran, who would want to come into the breeze pretty well all the time. Too short.
Well, it's so easy for the Australians. Flat pitch in good touch. Any shortness of length or width, the ball just sits up nicely to be belted. And there it is. It pitches outside off stump, got a little bit wider, probably half a yard, 2/3 of a yard too short, and he just smacked it. I don't think the bowlers will have to air too much in line or length on this pitch. Bowlers of either side, because it's a very good batting surface.
Good change of pace. Mark Taylor has played twice on this ground previously, scored half centuries on both occasions. It's obviously a pitch that he likes, and has a strike rate today of almost 87. That is Mark Taylor's record at Lahore. 56 his best against South Africa. That was a triangular tournament, South Africa, Australia and Pakistan in 94-95. And that includes today's innings. Nicely placed. Kiru's got a hand on it. That creates a long chase for Aravinda de Silva. Still gets to the boundary. It's 72 for 1.
Hi. You've reached John and Anita on our new answering machine, which we got for free just for using our Telstra basic card. Pretty snazzy, eh? Can you leave a message after the tone, please? Yeah. Or the beep.
This Easter, there's one thing you shouldn't forget. And that's a safety check from a Goodyear Auto Service Centre, which right now is under $30. That's less than half price. Phone 132343.
The runs coming very quickly for Australia, probably too quickly for Sri Lanka's liking. It does appear that Murali Dhuran was offered the other end by the skipper, but after a bit of a chat, he's decided that he prefers the pavilion end, and I think that's a wise decision by the off-spinner. He really needs to do something, preferably get a wicket, and I think Mark Taylor would be the one they'd want to get out of the way at the moment.
Economy rate, not bad at all, but I think more than anything he could do to turn a couple early. Just put a little bit of suspicion in the Australian batsman's mind. His first over, if he can get one to really spin, just makes the batsman a little bit more careful, a little more wary of his shot playing. Well, that turned a little bit from wide of off stump. But when he gets loose and fingers get warmed up, I'd be interested to just see whether he really rips it.
was interesting to see the batsman with a better footwork in the Australian side. Mark Waugh is the guy that I gauge everyone else against. I think he's got the best footwork of the lot, and he really couldn't quite get to Murali Dhuran in Australia to drive him through the offside. And it suggested that he was getting the ball to loop and drop on the batsman. Singer with the chase.
Well, he may be laughing, but I don't think the bowler would have been if they'd got a third run. Really sloppy fielding. Watch this. Dives down, can't get the ball in his hand. Ooh. It's a bit too wide, is that? Much too wide. I know it's spinning a little bit, but the batsman can easily go inside out. He'll give him too much weight. Good running.
.77 for 1. Roshan Mahanama, the fieldsman. Arjuna Ranatunga has got to find 2 catching men. Haven't reached the 15-over stage yet. And umpire Shepherd telling the sight screen attendant, we don't want the board moved. Just leave it exactly where it is. It's going to be a slip and a short cover. They're the catching men for Murali Dhuran. Easy single. It's 78 for 1.
Looking good.
Make more of your home's natural beauty with Cabot's Timber Finishes.
Shane Lee not playing in this World Cup final, but he's getting the treatment. Australia 78 for 1 after 14 overs. In the commentary position now, Ravi Shastri, and with him, Tony Greig.
Thank you, Ian. Might need a bit of that stuff. Stimulate the roots a bit. Get some bit of extra growth going. 78 for 1 after 14. And the Australians will be pretty happy with that. Obviously, they won't be very happy with the fact that Mark Waugh's out of the way, because his performance is so important to them. He's batted so well. However, we are now seeing 2 spinners. Kumara Dharamasena, only 32 matches, and an economy rate of 4.39. And his World Cup so far, you can see that nothing really sensational about his performance. He just does provide that facility for his captain, which allows him to change bowlers around. So they've got 2 off spinners, both of them spin the ball quite a long way. And Dharamasena is going round the wicket to the left-hander. Murali Dhuran was over. Long straight run. And that's nicely placed. Well, Ravi Shastri has moved in alongside me. This is not a bad start by Australia, but it's going to be a big score come what may.
Absolutely right, Tony. It's a flat wicket. The ball's coming onto the bat, and both these Australian batsmen, Ponting and Taylor, have played some fine shots. As far as the bowlers go, there's very little margin for error. And Dharamasena, who's bowling at the moment, really has a job on his hands, because The new ball bowlers, when they were in line or length, they've been given some tap by the Australian batsman. So he really has a role to play for his captain.
Quite a lot of pandemonium still in the stadium. A lot of people haven't been able to find their seats. And I can tell you that outside there's chaos. Nice placement. He can't afford to be too straight. He was a little bit too straight the last time round. Started off bowling a very straight over and got clipped away just behind square, just in front of square. They picked him off a little bit, then he straightened up. In fact, it happened to both the off-spinners.
That's the line to bowl to. You can't give width on either side. It's better to bowl a line off stump just outside.
The ball looked as if it was really spinning as it went through the air. Officially played, one bounce to Arjuna. Just have a look at this ball as it goes through the air. He really does put some work on it. It's a flat wicket, but watch it go through the air, spinning away viciously. Oh, Taylor goes for the big one. He mishit that one. That was a bit lucky. Just beat mid-wicket, and mid-on's run around to pick it up. So clearly Taylor has decided he's got to take it up to these bowlers.
Well, he doesn't want Dharmasena to settle down, but the off-spinner has done him in the flight. Looking to hit it over mid-off, start off, but then the ball really not coming on, and in the end dragging it to wide mid-on.
So a single, and that one played to mid-on. So 4 runs off that over. It's 82 for 1.
There's a new power at Holden, a brilliant V6 engine, the Ecotec V6, delivering more power using less fuel. So much less, it now rivals many big 4-cylinder cars. A revolutionary new power that won't cost you the earth. The Holden Commodore with Ecotec V6. The new power. There's nothing quite like a Holden.
Well, the run rate started at 6 runs and over. It dropped at one stage down to 4.5. And it's been hovering around 4, but just lately it's picked up a little bit. So at the moment it's running around about 5.5 runs and over. With 1 wicket down, that's not too bad. Lovely pitch out there. The outfield's quick. And just looking at those figures, the opener's quite expensive. A little bit loose, certainly. Chaminda Vaas was a bit short. And the spinners have just started. That's nice placement. He's hit it very wide. The middle fieldsman's having to run a long way around to pick that one up. Guru Singh, the fieldsman down there, and he's throw a long one to the far end.
Well, he's a busy little player, is Ricky Ponting, always on the lookout for runs. Very positive in his attitude.
Going for the straight drive down the ground. Sensible thinking. They've got a mid-wicket in position. They've got a wide, deep mid-on, as well as a straightish mid-on. Again, watch the ball spin here. He does give it a lot of spin, Murli. Off the pad.
Well, this is a good contest because Ricky Ponting likes to use his feet. Only they're not afraid to give the ball some air.
Well, they'll definitely get 1 here. Will they come back for the second? If they do, this will be the 50 partnership. No, he's sending him back. So that partnership remains on 49.
Well, both these batsmen have had tremendous success against Sri Lanka in the World Series in Australia this year. Mark Taylor, in fact, had 3 scores of over 80 against Sri Lanka. And everyone knows that Ricky Ponting walked into the Test match arena by getting 2 first-class hundreds for Tasmania against Sri Lanka, and then 90 odd in his very first Test match. So the Sri Lankans know that this pair is dangerous.
Mark Taylor just 2 runs away from 3,000 one-day international runs. He'll be the 7th Australian to achieve that feat. In the air, and that'll be it. It's running down towards the boundary. That's very well timed. A good shot. Into the fence it goes. Mark Taylor's looking in good form here. So it's the 50 partnership, and a milestone for Mark Taylor as well.
Well, he picked a spot here, Mark Taylor, but this is a superb piece of timing. Foot right to the pitch of the ball, and once he saw that the ball really wasn't there, went through with a shot, no half measures, and over mid-wicket for 4.
And that's his half century. That's very well played. Under pressure, Mark Taylor, the captain, has come to the party. So Mark Taylor, a half century, and it now looks as if drinks are coming out onto the ground. 90 for 1. Well, that's the scene from the high shot up in the lights. It's a lovely looking ground, and that's the card. So far, just 1 wicket down. Mark wore the man out. He was caught by Jaya Surya. Little chip on the onside. Have a look at this. Chaminda Vice was the bowler. Just chipped it away off the meat of the bat, but straight to the fieldsman. He hardly had to move, and there was plenty of jubilation associated with that particular wicket, because they know how dangerous Mark Waugh can be.
Well, that's one way the Sri Lankan bowlers can restrict the Australian batsmen. That's by picking up wickets at regular intervals. But unfortunately, the new ball bowlers have erred by bowling a little bit too short, allowing the batsmen to play a lot of the back foot.
Well, the Australians on target, it seems to me, for around about 280 at the moment. And that's nicely played by Taylor. He's whipped that one away on the onside. They're finding the gaps very well, this Australian side. This is a big ground, very hard to protect. Lots of gaps out there, and Mark Taylor at the moment is playing a gem of an innings. He's lifted the rate when it was required. When they got bogged down a bit, he's played some good pull shots, and in between those, he's knocked it away into the gaps. Straight to mid-on that time.
Well, just like Tony Gregg said, it's a big ground. Very important that Ranatunga gets his field placings right, because as the game progresses, you'll see a lot of 1s and 2s being run.
So Ricky Ponting having a little look around. There's a deep mid-wicket for him, a deep square leg, and a sweeper on the offside as well. He's been playing very straight. This will be close, just wide of the stumps. They needed a direct hit there. That makes the difference. If you can hit those stumps direct, you've got a chance of a run out when it's tight. Let's have another look at the replay.
Well, yeah, Ricky Ponting running with the shot, but what he didn't realize, the ball went too quickly to mid-on, and had that fielder hit the stumps, Ricky Ponting would have definitely been out.
Yes, it makes such a difference. Taylor has 53 or 54 balls, and that's well played, well fielded. Played away again to the right of the fieldsman. Mahanama is the man there. Good field.
Well, he's one of the best fielders in the Sri Lankan team. And this is the kind of fielding that can lift the spirits of the other players.
Again, played away comfortably from off the stumps. He's closing the face on that off spinner, no trouble at all. That's what happens when the pitch is good. There's not much spin at the moment from Daramasina.
But one just gets the feeling he's skidding onto the bat. It is a shiny surface out there.
5 runs from the over, 95 for 1.
Got the ball in his hand now. Coming in from the northern end.
The team at Ansett Australia is proud to be a carrier of the Australian cricket team.
Before you go away, buy a set of tyres from a Goodyear Auto Service Centre and you won't pay a cent for 3 months. So you don't have to put off replacing your old ones. Phone 132343.
Well, the light should be coming on before too long. Start to light up this ground. They're pretty impressive, actually. Just a little short again, and Taylor once more getting into the gap and getting away down to the sweeper. Well, he's got a record 27 half-centuries. When I say a record for anyone who hasn't scored a century. So 27 half-centuries, not a single century in that lot. That doesn't often happen. Normally, if you get that many half-centuries, you get a big one at some stage. Oh, that's well bowled. They're a little bit watchful. They're giving a lot of respect to Muralidharan. I think they recognise the fact that he turns it a little more than Daramasina.
And he isn't afraid to toss the ball up, inviting the batsman to use his feet. Because he knows at this stage wickets are also important. Because if these two are out there in the middle for another 10 overs or so, Australia could really be in the driver's seat.
Tossed it up again, and again nicely played. Just waiting for it on the crease. Ricky Ponting closing the face of the bat, just knocking it into the gap. Just watch him here. That's spinning, and as it turns, you can see the little flick of the bat. Really worthwhile watching the bat. Ricky Ponting's bat. Just watch it come down now and close right at the last minute. Interesting too that Muralidharan's got enough confidence to stay over the wicket to the left-hander. It's the right thing to do, but it needs pinpoint accuracy.
He'll be looking to bowl a line, middle and leg to Mark Taylor. He's getting turn out there.
Down the wicket, straight to short extra, misfield. Think about one. Decide not to go. 2 runs off the over, 97 for 1.
Unzip the new Billy Guides and Chandler's Homemaker Super Savers catalogue, and you'll find a huge range of great specials. The Americana's 6-kilo heavy-duty 2-cycle washer, just $7.99. And this Samsung 348-litre frost-free fridge freezer, only $989. Plus, don't miss out on your chance to win a room full of furniture and electrical appliances. The Billy Guides and Chandler's Homemaker Super Savers catalogue, out now.
The man out, Mark Waugh, for 12. Taylor playing beautifully on 55. Ponting out there as well, being relatively cautious at the moment, but they're bowling pretty well to him. He's on strike. This is Daramasina. Straight back to him. Gets a hand on that one. That's well fielded. Lots of encouragement coming from little Kalu Watharana too. You can hear him chirping away in the background. That's well placed. Out of Inda de Silva, picking that one up at the mid-wicket fence.
Well, this is one problem the Sri Lankans will face. Having won the toss, decided to field, they must realize that they must try and restrict the Australians to under 250.
You reckon, Robbie? I reckon the Sri Lankans don't care what the opposition get.
Well, the problem they'll face today, Tony, is that they're up against a side that's one of the best sides in the world when it comes to defending totals. The reason for that, they field well, they're competitive at all times and refuse to give up, as the West Indians found out the other night in Mohali.
Yes, these Sri Lankans remind me a bit with their bowling of the West Indians. Sorry, with their batting, as the West Indians with their bowling. They used to have this view when Andy Roberts and Michael Holding, those guys were around, no matter what the total was, they always fancied themselves to roll the team out. They were so good. These Sri Lankans have had such a good time with the bat, they give the impression they don't mind chasing anything. Well, that single brings up the 100. They're going to have to chase a lot tonight.
They certainly will have to, and one mustn't forget that this is a big game. It's a final of a World Cup. The pressure is going to be immense.
They're getting through the overs quite quickly now, the two spinners, Dharamasena and Muralidharan. This is Dharamasena again, round the wicket this time to Taylor. Right in the beat of the bat, and again straight down the ground. 4 runs from the over, 101 for 1.
A design unlike any other is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Introducing a design you've never seen from a name you know well. The all-new V6 Ford Taurus Kia. Now it's your turn to be inspired.
There it is, 101 for 1 off 19 overs, and Ranjit Fernando has moved in alongside me. He's not exactly beaming, but he always has a little smile on his face. I was saying, Ranjit, that I thought that they didn't really mind what they chase. That's certainly the impression they've been giving.
Yes, Tony, a nice little partnership, of course, developing here, and Ranattunga must be an anxious man. Of course, Dharamsena has come in and put the brakes a bit, but he certainly will have to look to Muralidharan too. And there's Jayasuriya, that's the change, and probably he's looking to Jayasuriya to put the brakes and crawl back into this game.
Now, it's interesting that he's taken Muralidharan out of the attack, and he was bowling pretty well. I thought the best of 2 spinners so far. Jayasuriya, he's going to spin the ball back into the left-hander. Oh, Taylor won't mind that too much. He's going over the wicket to Taylor, who's having a look down towards square leg and deep mid-wicket. They've got that side of the field very well covered, if you can cover it. It's very big ground. So Jayasuriya, who's a little flatter, doesn't spin it quite so much, is on his way now. This is his first ball. Outside off stump, and that one cut away. Taylor's not happy with himself. As he ran away there, his head went back. He wanted to get that one into the gap. He hit it straight to the fieldsman.
A lot of gaps out here on this large Gaddafi stadium, and the Sri Lankans would have to cut the singles or end the 2s as much as possible, because every run given away here would be a run they'll have to make.
Now this is quite interesting. Jayasuriya adopting the Muralidharan tactic. He's decided to stay left arm over the wicket to the right-hander. Again, requires that he bowls very straight. It's a positive move though. So Ponting on strike. Well, that's way down the leg side, and it's been missed by the keeper as well. It was that wide. It's gone all the way to the fence for 4 wides. Well, that's a dreadful delivery.
Extremely poor delivery by Jayasuriya at that time. Probably trying to give the ball a little bit of wear, and slipping off his hand, beating Kaluwithana completely, way down the leg side.
The other thing about that ball, you can see how it's skidded away straight. And that is anguish written all over Jayasuriya's face. That's a much better delivery. Ponting not happy with something, or is he trying to get the attention of the dressing room? So I think he wants some more gloves. 27 or 40 balls. He's not in any great hurry. That's well played. There's an example of the way Ricky Ponting plays. He waits for it, goes right back, tends to play the ball off the back foot where he can.
Pitch playing extremely well. Jayasuriya not getting anything out of it, but he's got the ability to bowl these Yorkers very, very effectively. And Jayasuriya, no doubt, looking at all avenues to keep these two batsmen quiet.
Big ratings down in Sri Lanka tonight, Ranjit.
Yes, Tony, no doubt this is certainly the greatest day in Sri Lanka's sporting history, and every Sri Lankan, wherever he is, must be anxiously following the fortunes of Sri Lanka in this cup final today.
He's got that one away, that time into the gap, or is he going to be able to come back for the second? No, one again. And Taylor not happy with himself. He was beaten once that over, and that one he'd like to have got away for two. On consecutive occasions now, he's tried to get the ball into the gap and failed. Playing that one backward of point and skidding across this outfield. Dara Messina in position. So one ball to go in this over. And wide given again. Well, so that's 8 off the over and still a ball to be bowled.
Jayasuriya once again straying down the leg side, and umpire Shepherd was certain that it was wide. So Jayasuriya taking time to settle down.
Yes, that's well done. The end of the over, 110 for 1.
Anyone shopping for shares can now buy their own blue chip portfolio with Aussie shares.
Hello, girl. Hello, Cheryl. I've just been checking out my stocks and shares. Don't you mean stock?
There it is, 110 for 1. The Australians going well in the commentary box. Richie Benaud and Jeff Boycott.
Thanks, Tony. Yes, they are doing well at the moment. Although one thing to bear in mind is that their scoring rate now is no faster than it was in the first 5 overs. They haven't actually accelerated, but they have been careful not to lose more than the 1 wicket. 111 now, so umpire Shepherd will be leaping about from foot to foot at square leg, or at pointy it's actually for the left-hander. And that's all the work umpire Shepherd will have to do for the moment, because they've moved on to 112. Always gives a little jig, just to make sure no bad luck befalls anyone whenever the score's on 111 or any multiple of it. Afternoon, Jeffrey.
Afternoon, Richie. Afternoon, everybody. Well, the Australians, to me, are in a comfort zone. They got off to a fairly quick start, and now they're just chipping the ball around very sensibly. You mentioned about not losing wickets, Richie, and that's a good point to bear in mind, but they're scoring more or less 5 and over. I think Sri Lanka, from their point of view, they need a wicket. They need to get a new batsman in and try and put a bit of pressure on him and make it hard for the new batsman to score 5 or 6 and over. See, there's runs wherever they want. The pace of the pitch is fairly slowish. Nice true bounce, and they played a lot of shots off the back foot, particularly to the seamers, did the Australians. And I felt this pitch you can't afford to be short at all. Mark Taylor stayed back and he's played beautifully. Pulled shots off the back foot.
Man standing at Dara Messina's end is Steve Buckner. Third umpire here is Cyril Mitchley. Match referee Clive Lloyd. $115 for 1 and 21 overs have gone. 115 for 1, so we're within 4 overs now of the halfway mark in this 50 over a side final. Taylor leading the way with 60 and Ponting 32 is playing well. Plenty of scope out there for the pushed single and then the quick two, if you can get up wide of the fielder. Viewers who might just have joined us, we had heavy rain during the night, but the outfield stayed quite fast. They had the roller on this morning. I think the waters got through fairly quickly. They had that great invention, the Super Sopper, going out there, an Australian invention, designed a delightful chap in Sydney, and it's been a great boon to cricket and other sports grounds around the world.
Well, just a couple of lapses in the field by the Sri Lankans the last couple of overs. Wasn't very spectacular, this, and he missed the ball. Bowlers need a bit of help. Somebody's got to do a bit of special fielding, something a bit spectacular. A run out maybe, just to give the Sri Lankans a little bit of a lift. It's all too easy for Australia at the moment. They're playing beautifully, stroking the ball around. Mark Taylor's in top form. When that happens, you've got to change the bowling around a little bit. The fielders have got to up their game, help the bowlers along.
Lovely story without words there with umpire Shepherd finally losing patience with side screen attendants and just showing them how to make a mark in the ground. From the fielder, he'd have got it wide had he let it go. As it is, he's picked up 2 runs, but from a stroke that was in the air a long time.
Well, it was such a bad ball and so wide that I think Mark Taylor had to really reach for it further than he expected, and so he scooped it in the air. Fortunately, it went in the gap. Yes, he knows it was nearly half a chance.
This is the first time any cricket match has been played at Gaddafi Stadium, Lahore, under lights. Lights have moved along quite a bit in the last 17 years since World Series cricket in Australia. Now those are high enough, quite different from Chandigarh, where they were apparently quite satisfactory. But these are higher and on very narrow stanchions. Nicely played. The ball swerved a little from off to leg, and it's 120 for 1, 22 overs.
He has with him Steve Waugh. Ravinder De Silva often gets wickets for Sri Lanka, and he got an important one in this match.
Yes, Mark Taylor was batting really well, looking to score off just about every delivery. He just got a little too close to that sweep shot, wasn't able to roll his wrists over it. In fact, he scooped that shot.
So once again, Jayasuriya was the man on the spot. He's taken 2 catches in this innings. And right throughout this World Cup, he's been in the game. He's thrown the stumps down a couple of times for run-outs, got catches, some wickets. Most importantly, he's got quick runs. He'll need them again here in Lahore if Sri Lanka are to win.
And that partnership between Collinwood Tharma and Jayasuriya has given Sri Lanka many. And Ricky Ponting, who's also played well, deceived by that one from Aravinda De Silva. How often we've seen in the limited overs game batsmen who are well set trying to run the ball down to third man, and this time completely missing it. Ball turning a little bit, and look at Aravinda De Silva. No wonder he's happy, because he's got an important wicket. Australia 152 for 3.
This is one ride that's action all the way. W frequent fighter points.
Tell me you're good at this.
I'm the best.
Wesley Snipes. Elizabeth Hurley.
Always bet on black.
Passenger 57, 8:30 Monday on 9.
This is me in Bali.
This is me in Rio.
You can get away with anything in Rio.
Well, Mark Taylor is not a captain to let the game just roll along. He's always putting it to the opposition, seeing if the opposition are prepared to be flexible or change their tactics. So he sent in Shane Warne. 24 of 14 deliveries against New Zealand. Played an important role there as a pinch hitter. Hit a huge 6 in that 24 against New Zealand. Hasn't really had to do much with the bat apart from that game. But with the spinners on, he is a good hitter against the spinners. And it'll be interesting to see if Arjuna answers this tactic with a little bit of pace. Perhaps an over or two from Chaminda Vas. Aravinda has been spot on target, and getting that Yorker right in the block hole. Just 4 men inside the circle for Warne. 3 out on the onside, 2 on the off. And the pinch hitter's getting cute now to get off the mark. It's 153 for 3. Aravinda De Silva picking up his 2nd wicket in that over. I think really the mistake that Ponting made there, he wasn't balanced when he played the shot. The shot could have been played, but he wasn't balanced. He was still on the move as he was trying to play the shot. Well, it's been quite a good spell here for Sri Lanka. Aravinda De Silva doing the damage as far as wickets are concerned. 2 for 15 from 4. At the other end, things have been tidy. So Sri Lanka getting back into the game at a time when it looked to be getting away from them. Although you wonder what getting away from Sri Lanka is. Although I fancy it's going to be a little harder chasing a big target in this match, because 1, it'll be against Australia, who are good defenders, and 2, it is a World Cup final.
Yes, I think the pressure will be enormous when the Sri Lankans begin their chase.
Wide called by umpire Shepherd.
And even if it's a target which requires a run rate of over 4, over 5, the Sri Lankans will feel the pressure. They need to get off to a good start, but right now they are more concerned with trying to keep the Australian total to a manageable limit. What that manageable limit is, only they know.
Just a few words from the skipper. There's a man at long on. Just wondering about your thoughts, Sonny, former opening batsman, not quite in the same style as Kalu Wadharana or Jayasuriya, but easier to go for the bowling when you're setting the target rather than chasing a known target?
Well, I think if you're Kaluwithana or Jayasuriya, it really should make no difference either way. But yes, it does make a difference if you're batting first and you don't have a target to chase. Then there's nothing at the back of your mind that you've got to maintain a certain run rate or try and score of every delivery. You can afford to play the odd dot ball. But when you're chasing, then every dot ball adds to the mental pressure. It preys on your mind that you might just have let your side down by playing a couple of dot balls. So batting first always is easier, even for the pinch hitters.
Steve Waugh just with a bit of advice there for Shane Warne. Probably telling him, don't just swing it.
The bat has not gone down. Super work there by Kaluwithana. The Sri Lankans need to be given credit for planning it, although this time Shane Warne was playing a defensive shot. Australia 156 for 4. And the crowd certainly appreciating the work done by Kaluwithana. The Sri Lankan flags there. Quick, very good work there by Kaluwithana. Australia 156 for 4.
Win a trip to see the stars at an Academy Awards party in LA, or one of 500 double passes to the new film release Casino. Simply call this number and tell us who is nominated for an Oscar in Casino, and be watching Central Park West Tuesday to win.
The Liberal government promised to get Victoria moving. Keep Victoria moving with a Liberal government. Authorised P. Bajoli, Liberal Party, Melbourne.
Just allowing Sri Lanka back into this game. 3 wickets falling fairly quickly. One of them a pinch hitter, Shane Warne. Stuart Law, who played such an important innings in the semi-final, really the man who got Australia here. He didn't get the Man of the Match award, but without Stuart Law's 72 there, Australia really could not have set the West Indies a target that would have mattered. And then Shane Warne's 4 wickets also wouldn't have done much. So an important innings from Stuart Law in that semi-final. Murali Dhiran, a good piece of bowling and well assisted by the wicket-keeper.
Well, there you are, Murali Dhiran just bowling a little bit down the leg side. I think it was more in anticipation of Shane Warne giving him the charge. They must have planned that, but Shane Warne didn't quite give him the charge. But he overbalanced, and Ramesh Kaluwithana, anticipating, was right there and had the bails off in a flash.
There's no doubt there's been a tremendous improvement in his wicket-keeping since he started to make some runs. Since he was promoted to the top of the order, Kaluwithana, he was an immediate success as an opening batsman in Australia, and you could see his wicket-keeping picked up dramatically. I think probably on 2 counts. Obviously the confidence that came from making the runs, but 2, that probably suggested to him that his place in the team was safe. And that does make a hell of a difference to the way a player thinks. But he is a much better keeper now than he was just 3-4 months ago. Tilakaratne. These wickets have definitely given new life to the Sri Lankans in the field.
Yes, they're definitely throwing themselves at everything now. There is a tendency when the batsmen are going well for the heads to drop. The effort not quite there. But as soon as a couple of wickets fall, and particularly quickly, then the fielding immediately perks up.
That's a nice little touch there from Stuart Law. Well run, Steve Waugh getting back very quickly, although he's decided against the third. It's 163 for 4.
Absolutely nothing beats Car Care Clinic's new super service. A full service and tune. Change engine oil and filter. Top up fluid levels. Replace spark plugs and air filter. Set timing, idle and fuel mixture. Check steering, suspension and brakes. Your car's going to...
Mark Taylor, 74. Ricky Ponting, 45. We're pushing Australia into a very strong position. But Aravinda de Silva has changed that, getting those 2 wickets, and then Nurul Dhiran getting rid of the pinch hitter, Shane Warne. And Arjuna Ranatunga, wisely attacking here with a man in close on the offside, realising another wicket now will really put Sri Lanka in a strong position.
That's good captaincy. There's no question that keeping that fielder will certainly make the batsman think about him all the time. Keeping a fielder in front of you is very important. You can have close-in fielders beyond the batsman's vision, and that doesn't always affect the batsman. But keeping a fielder right in front of you makes the batsman conscious of that fielder.
Especially if you hear from him regularly, Sonny.
I don't know whether Tilak Ratne is giving the old Yahoo to the batsman.
Someone like Javed, you would know exactly what was going on in there. There'd be a bit of chatter.
Well, he wouldn't be telling the batsman as much as he would be telling the bowler. He'd be telling him to bowl number 16 or bowl number 12 or something like that.
Yes, he was a great man for a bit of psychology and a bit of gamesmanship, and a very smart cricketer, Javed Miandad. Very good cricket brain. Not a good over there for Sri Lanka. It's 166 for 4. Well, the 1996 Wills World Cup has been played on the subcontinent in 3 countries and spent a lot of well, from the northwest frontier back to Lahore for the final between Australia and Sri Lanka. 166 for 4 after 34 overs Australia, and Sri Lanka getting right back into this game. Dara Messina is on now at the college end and moving into the commentary position with me, Ranjit Fernando.
Sri Lanka have slowly but surely crawled back into this game through the courtesy of Aravinda de Silva, who has just completed a very useful spell. And with comparatively 2 new batsmen at the crease, Sri Lankans applying a great deal of pressure.
We keep talking about what is a manageable target. Ranjit, you've spent a lot of time with the Sri Lankans recently. What do you think that their expectations are?
I reckon the Sri Lankans are quite prepared to look at something like around 270, but I'm sure they would be happy around 250.
They certainly don't fear anybody these days, do they, in the competition?
Their batting has come off, and they've got a lot of experience and skill, and I think the confidence they've gained since returning from Australia, I think, has stood them in extremely good stead.
And they've really wanted this, haven't they? They've wanted Australia, another crack at Australia after that tour.
Yes, I think they felt that they deserve another crack at Australia, since they felt that they should have had Australia probably in the Benson and Hedges final, and this probably is the glorious opportunity they've been given.
You've been watching them now for nearly a couple of hours. Early on, I thought there might have been signs, a little bit of tension out there. Do you feel they're pretty comfortable now?
Yes, and I think the Sri Lankans had developed a great deal of resilience during the last few months, and this certainly has come to the fore here. They've really come back from a rather tight situation and come back sneaking into the game.
In the air. And well taken. A well-judged catch. Aravinda de Silva, who's already taken 2 wickets, now takes a good catch.
That's certainly a great blow for Sri Lanka. The top edge by Steve Waugh and Aravinda de Silva running across, taking a very good judged catch, keeping his eyes on the ball all the time and catching it to a nicety. Is he not delighted?
170 for 5.
The Labor Party called that a park. That's not a park. This is a park. And now thousands more Victorians are sharing our new asset. Keep Victoria moving with a Liberal government. Authorised P. Bajoli, Liberal Party, Melbourne.
This is me in Bali.
Well, this final has really come alive here in Lahore, Pakistan. Michael Bevan, the left-hander, at the crease. Came in to bat against the West Indies without much form, mainly because he hadn't had a lot of hits. Played well in that match. He'll need to play well again. There's a big wicket getting rid of Steve Waugh. He's been such a good player in all forms of cricket for Australia in that middle order. Michael Bevan, terrific record. And you see there that he didn't have to do much until that semi-final against the West Indies. He has with him Stuart Law, the man who also played well against the West Indies. And Arjuna Ranatunga going on the attack, has a slip in. That's good captaincy. And 4 men in, saving the single.
Two new men at the wicket. Sri Lanka certainly have their tails up, and Muralidharan now getting his act together. He's been getting the prodigious turn he's been reputed to have.
Bevan off the mark. And there's a good delivery from Dharamasena. Got rid of Steve Waugh, just catching the front edge. And that's a very well judged catch. Not so easy when you're on the full run to catch them. The eyes are just bobbing up and down a little bit. Aravinda de Silva didn't have enough time to get there and get set. That's a good catch. When you're running almost flat out, they're not easy.
Muralidharan certainly getting his line right now, and his confidence growing with the new batsman in.
Once again, the top spinner catching a leading edge. They've really come alive now, Sri Lanka.
Muralidharan mixing things up that time, the ball going straight through, drifting away from the bat.
The Australian batsmen have to be a little careful now. They don't want to lose any more wickets. And that in itself will help to slow down the run rate. That's a good over following a wicket. It's 171 for 5. 171 for 5, Australia. They were sent into bat by Arjuna Ranatunga. It looked as though Australia were getting away from them with Mark Taylor and Ponting there. But some wickets have really dragged Sri Lanka back into the competition. Well, in the commentary position now, it's going to be Richie Benaud and with him Ravi Shastri.
Thank you, Ian. They've scored 171 for 5. This really has been a great fight back by Sri Lanka. The spinners have done a wonderful job, especially after the new ball bowlers got some tap. And it will be Dharmasena to continue to Bevan. And this really could be the most crucial period of the game, because at one stage it looked as if Australia would score a total in excess of 290. But just seeing the way the spinners are bowling, the odd ball is stopping on the batsman and turning. And really they have put the brakes on the Australians. With me is Richie Benaud. Richie, the game evenly poised at the moment, though Sri Lanka little in front.
Yes, they've certainly come back very well. And if ever you need underlining the virtue of taking wickets to stop the run rate, it's been in this final here in Lahore. One stage the Australians were racing away.
Beautifully played square of the wicket. Good piece of fielding in the outfield there, restricting the batsman to only a couple. But that's the problems the Australians will face at the moment, is they've lost too many wickets, yet at the same time they have to keep the scoreboard moving.
Because at the halfway mark, it looked that the Australians, if they kept moving along smoothly, would have finished up with 290, 300. As it is now, 250 will satisfy them very much, I would think.
Certainly would, because the Sri Lankans aren't giving anything away out there. Another good over for Sri Lanka. There's just 3 runs coming off it. 174 for 5. Well, 174 for 5, and really a big transformation in the game from when Australia were 136 for 1. So really they have made a mess of the fine start given to them by first Taylor and Waugh, and then that partnership between Ponting and Mark Taylor. And now really it's up to these two batsmen out in the middle, Law and Bevan, who had that wonderful partnership against the West Indies, to really get them back on course. Muralidharan to continue. Bevan, the batsman, on strike. And just to give you an indication of how well the Sri Lankans have performed in the last few overs. The Australians haven't hit a boundary for 13 overs. And in the initial stages, when the new ball bowlers were bowling, there was a flurry of boundaries. There again, turn for Muralidharan.
Started off, didn't turn anything very much, and then suddenly he's getting the ball to grip now. Messina at the other end, and De Silva doing well. Been very interesting to watch the Sri Lankans. Not dissimilar, different match, but not dissimilar to the way the Australians searched for a breakthrough against the West Indies the other night. And when they got it, they suddenly clambered all over the opposition. Well, Sri Lanka not quite clambering all over Australia, but they're taking a few steps towards it.
Muralidharan is a big spinner of the ball, and he is getting consistent turn out there. And that makes the batsman's job a little more difficult. The bowling figures there, you see the new ball bowlers getting plenty of stick from the opening batsman, but all the four spinners doing a fine job. Arvinder in particular picking up those two very important wickets. Just one run coming off that over. Australia 175 for 5. So Australia losing those 4 important wickets after that fine partnership between Taylor, who made 74, and Ponting 45. The spinners coming into play. De Silva picking up 2 important wickets. And now it's up to Law and Bevan. Still can't find the gap. Bevan had a fine series in Australia. He got lots of runs in the one-day series, the Benson Hedges series. But really, he has a job on his hands at the moment. Oh, that's beautifully bowled.
He's having a good day, Kalavitarana. That brilliant stumping of Shane Warne down the leg side may well have been called a wide, but you can be stumped off a wide. Now, very quick again.
And that really is a fine take, because that ball spun pretty quickly. Never easy when it pitches around the leg stump and the batsman covers you. Really was a good take.
Now suddenly the ball's not going between the fielders. A bit more pressure on the batsman. Concentrating on not getting out and picking up some runs, and they're not quite able to get their placement right.
This is good bowling. He's tucking up Michael Bevan, bowling a line of middle and leg stump, not giving him any room outside that off stump. And really, 2 Australian batsmen in a dilemma now whether to attack or preserve wickets. A rare no ball from Dharmasena. No runs coming off the bat in this over so far. So another good over from Dharmasena, just that 1 run coming off the no ball. 1-7.
At one stage the Australians were scoring 6 and over, then it got down to about 5.5, and then all of a sudden it went down below 5. That was in the 30th over, and it's never got back up to 5 since then.
Just gives you the clear indication of the dominance of the Sri Lankan spinners. The Australians must be realizing now the importance of a batsman who's in to play right through the innings. Because when Mark Taylor and Ricky Ponting were out there in the middle, they had gauged the pace of the wicket and the turn, and runs were coming freely. But after their dismissal, the batsmen have had problems. Only a single on the onside for Law.
These two players need to stick around for Australia well into the 40s as far as the overs go. They've still got Healy to come, who's a very good striker of the ball in this situation. But realistically, they should be looking at 250 and no more at the moment. And to do that, do it successfully, these are the two, Bevan the left-hander, Law the skipper of Queensland, and Healy the next man in, who can do it for them.
Loud shout for leg before, but that one pitched outside the leg stump. Just 2 runs coming off that over. 178 for 5, Australia. Well, 10 overs left. And that's a view of the floodlights. They're on now. And really, Australia, if they have to reach a score of 250 with 60 balls remaining, they'll have to score more than a run a ball. It's not going to be easy out there because the Sri Lankan spinners are putting pressure on them. Then Ian Healy, Australia have a very experienced man to follow. But when the ball's turning and stopping on the batsman, it's not easy to get your timing right straight away. Bob Simpson there must be a worried man. At one stage, it looked as if his side would reach a score of 280. That's not possible now.
Muralidharan has finished his complete 10 overs. Did very well, 1 for 31. That's a good performance. It's the single to Stuart Law. Just a question of to whom Ranatunga will turn now from this pavilion end. I'd be looking at Jayasuriya, I think, the left-hander, who spears the ball in at both right and left-handers. Wasn't all that accurate early on, but he's not a bad record in these games. So he'd be the one I think I'd choose to come on at this pavilion end.
Just a single again for Bevan. Will push the fielder. A brilliant piece of fielding there in the outfield by Muralidharan. He's had a fine day today. Yes, Jayasuriya has 6 overs still to be bowled, and Arvinder De Silva has 5. But like Richie Beno said, I think Arjuna Ranatunga might just fall back on Jayasuriya. What's been most impressive about these Sri Lankan spinners is the line they've bowled. On around that off stump with the ball spinning into the batsman, not giving any room whatsoever. And we've seen over the last 15 overs, boundaries have been really hard to come by. The reason for that being the excellent line being bowled by these spinners. They're making the batsman play and score runs to their field. Only a single. Law coming back for the second. He'll have to hurry. No problem whatsoever there. Just 6 runs coming off that over. Australia 184 for 5. So 184 for 5, 9 overs remaining. The Australians really relying on this pair of Law and Bevan, because we've got only Ian Healy to follow. And the spinners still are doing a fine job for Sri Lanka. Arvinda De Silva being brought back into the attack. He's bowled 5 overs for 19 runs, but more important than that, 2 very important wickets. He's had a fine day too. He's picked up that wonderful catch as well.
There's 5 men on the onside, and Arvinda De Silva coming from the pavilion end, and 3 of those men are in the outfield. One of them, I reckon, precisely where that ball might have gone.
That's beautifully played by Law in the gap on the offside, but again, good fielding there by Muralidharan. He is a good outfielder, very quick on his feet, and he's backed that up with a very good throw.
Finished up as a full toss, and safe for the single from the next ball.
Well, still a predominantly onside field for the left-handed batsman as well. Michael Bevan, the batsman on strike. Arvinda De Silva deciding to bowl round the wicket to him. In fact, there are 5 fielders on the offside for the left-hander and 4 on the on. So ideally he'd be looking to bowl a line round middle and off stump to the left-hander. Played away only for a single again. Arjuna Ranatunga certainly won't mind this. What he doesn't want at this stage is Australia to get runs in boundaries.
Umpire Shepherd's keeping an eagle eye on the side screen moving. He did instruct the chaps moving the side screen, though, to put a mark on the ground to show where it should go to each time for the over the wicket and round the wicket deliveries. But I think although he made various scraping motions with his foot out there, it was all to no avail.
Another good tight over by Arvinda De Silva. So 8 overs remaining. That's 48 balls to go. Australia 189 for 5. Really, if they have to achieve their target of 250, they'll need a couple of good overs at this stage. Dharmasena in his last over to Law. And that's smashed away over square leg and over the boundary line. 6 runs. That was a full toss from Dharmasena, and Stuart Law quick to pounce on that.
It was a hell of a hit because it clubbed it away just about perfectly square. Yep, nice strike.
Beautifully picked up by Law. In fact, it wasn't a full toss. I beg your pardon for that. Heaved over square leg. Now Stuart Law can put pressure on the bowler now, having picked up 6 runs of the first delivery. So really, if these 2 batsmen knock the ball around, there is 10 runs for the taking in this over. And it's funny what a couple of good overs can do. He'll have to hurry. An overthrow there from Roshan Mahanama, who was coming in quickly from cover. allowing the batsman to come back for a second run. So this really is a good over for Australia so far.
Very good cricket by Bevan. First of all, the little push on the offside, and then the quick turn. As soon as the ball went past, he was going to the non-striker's end.
Well, he's shown right through the spell that he's a fine fielder to his own bowling, is Dharmasena.
Come on, get it!
Giving himself room as Bevan. Can't find the gap, only a single for him.
There's a little sequence going on down the far end of the ground with Steve Buckner and the bowler Dharmasena and Stuart Law, where the batsman and bowler collided. Steve Buckner telling the batsman to get further out. Dharmasena didn't waste too many words, but what they were quite short and sharp.
Again, played away for a single to bring up the Australian 200, by far the best over Australia. So 42 balls remaining. Australia 200 for 5. Really losing their way midway through the innings after that fine third wicket partnership between Mark Taylor and Ricky Ponting. And now Arjuna Ranatunga falling back on Jayasuriya. In his first spell, he bowled 4 overs for 21 runs. And now the floodlights fully on for these last 7 overs of the Australian innings. And those are the figures of Jayasuriya for you. Economical, 4 overs for 21 runs, came in to bowl at a difficult stage in his first spell when Ponting and Taylor were in full flow. And now again has a tough job to do. He has to restrict the batsman in the slog overs. Picked away on the onside by Stuart Law. Again straight to the fielder in the deep, only a single.
Just 4 on the onside now because the left-arm bowler is coming over the wicket and he's able to do any fielding that would normally run away through mid-on. They still must have the 4 inside the circle. Got a man at backward square, or I suppose short fine leg. Man at mid-wicket, one at cover point and one at extra cover.
Giving himself room again is Bevan. Again straight to the man at deep point.
Bevan's becoming a little frustrated there. His timing isn't exactly as he'd want it. He's been hitting the ball hard, but hasn't been quite going with the sweetness of timing he'd wish.
And he's gone. Stuart Law trying to hit Jayasuriya over the cover field, but managing to get an outside edge and straight to the hands of the fielder at backward point, Arvinder De Silva. So yet another wicket gone. 202 for 6 Australia.
This is a big one for Sri Lanka. They've had a few big ones. 6 of them down now. And Stuart Law just aiming with a wristy stroke to take it away in the air. Quite deliberately hit there, but he didn't mean to hit it quite as fine as that. And it's now 202 for 6.
How many numbers games are more fun?
Well, with the Australians in real trouble at the moment at 202 for 6, to tell you more about it, it's going to be Tony Greig and with him Ian Chappell.
What a vital wicket that was, the last one. Australians have watched this delivery to Healy. Plays that around the onside. He's a very good player in situations like this. He won't be affected. Yes, let's have another look at the wicket. Jayasuriya is the bowler, and of course that one just outside off stump. Stuart Law going for it. He gave it a bit of room, actually. Thick outside edge and straight to gully. Aravinda in the way.
Yes, Aravinda is another one who always seems to be in the action in this World Cup. Just enough turn there from Jayasuriya.
It's nicely driven, but they've got a sweeper back, so just one. Hasn't this been a turnaround? The Australians looked as if they were coasting there for a while. They were 137 for one.
Is Jayasuriya just getting enough turn to catch the edge? And there's the reaction from the bowler on taking the wicket of Stuart Law.
Into the gap again, Healy. Straight away is scoring the runner ball, well fielded. Right alongside the bails. Australia 205 for 6. So there we are. Quite a big collapse there. They were looking really good for a while. Now Bevan's out there on 16. Lot depends on him. Healy has joined him. He's got 2. He's only faced 2 balls. Ball him! He's got him. He's tossed that one up in the air. Healy has been done. Neck and crop. That was magnificent bowling. He tossed it up in the air. It spun a little bit, and Healy really was lost. He seemed to be wandering around trying to hit the ball down the ground, and it's knocked back the leg stump.
Well, they say about spinners, you've got to beat the batsman in the air before you can beat him off the pitch. And this is a classic example. Aravinda de Silva beat him with flight. That is the perfect off-spinner's dismissal. Healy is gone, and Australia are 205 for 7.
Got the ball in his hand now. Coming in from the northern end.
The team at Ansett Australia is proud to be a carrier of the Australian cricket team.
Oh, hi. Yeah, it's a mobile. No, it was free. I'll just be using my Telstra Visa card. Yeah, it's great.
Thanks for the tip.
Yeah? No.
A design unlike any other is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Introducing a design you've never seen from a name you know well. The all-new V6 Ford Taurus Kia. Now it's your turn to be inspired.
What a World Cup he's having. Now that it's got down to the important matches, his experience is definitely beginning to tell. 3 for 25, 24 off 6.1 overs, an economy rate of 3.89. More importantly, he's got those wickets.
Paul Rifle, the new batsman. And when you look at that scorecard, Australia's scorecard, you see the names De Silva and Jayasuriya all over the scorecard. Catches and wickets, and they really have been right in the thick of things in this World Cup.
Again, tossed up just outside off stump, trying to force him to drive on the offside.
Yes, this was a beautiful piece of bowling by Aravinda de Silva. New batsman in, tossed it up. Healy's eyes lit up, but that's beautifully bowled.
Interesting field. No one saving one on the offside. Almost encouraging the drive out there. Just watch this delivery. Just watch from this angle the batsman come forward, and of course had he not been bowled there was a good chance he'd have been stumped.
And you could see there that Ian Healy really didn't have the confidence to go after it. You could see that he was in the shot. He was beaten fairly early. He's starting to think about trying to get back halfway through the shot, and that's a sign that he knew that he'd been done in the air. That's beautiful bowling.
3 on the boundary, 2 saving 1, and then across on the offside, 2 saving 1, and 2 on the boundary. Into the gap, the sweepers will come in. Will they come back for the second? No, they won't. In goes the throw. 1 bounce down the bowler's end. Well fielded.
And interesting, immediately they threw to the end that Rifle was going to be running to if they went for the second. Just completely forgot about Bevan. Just concentrate on Rifle, which is good thinking.
Yes, very good thinking, very logical thinking as well. Bevan, of course, the fastest, or one of the fastest, certainly, between the wickets in the world of cricket.
There's no doubt about the 2 men who have got Sri Lanka back into this game. Look at De Silva, features 3 times as a bowler, twice in the field, and you've got Jayasuriya, 2 catches and a wicket. And terrific job they've done for Sri Lanka.
Gilsman back at mid-on, so a comfortable single. 4 runs and a wicket of that over, 209 for 7.
Pentax presents a camera offer that's truly...
Jayasuriya is going to continue. He's bowled 5. De Silva's got 3 to go. So they've got 8 overs of spin remaining if they want. That's well stopped.
Yes, he's really come alive. Very good stumping from Kalu Udharana earlier on, and you can hear him talking a lot now. And the man we shouldn't forget is the skipper, Arjuna Ranatunga. Probably the 2 best skippers in the competition, as well as the 2 best sides meeting here in the final. The 2 best skippers, they've both been prepared to try things. Arjuna Ranatunga has tried a few things when his side was down and got them right back into the game.
That's whipped away nicely. It's going down to square leg. They need some 4s and 6s now. This is not enough. Having said that, anything can happen in these matches, but this is a good pitch. And this Sri Lankan side bat a long way. They've got a very strong batting lineup. Bevan on 19. So much depends on him now off 36 balls. He's very good if it comes down to the last few overs and he's still out there.
One of the unknowns in the evening part of the play is the television crew were telling me that when they were down here last night that there was a very heavy dew on the field at around about 8 o'clock, and they said it was quite wet. Now that's a bit of an unknown quantity. I guess the question we need to know the answer to is who is that going to affect the most? Is it going to have some effect on the pitch and help the ball to move around a little bit, or is it going to have a detrimental effect on the bowling side because the ball will get so wet? Hard to know, but that could be one of the factors in this evening's play.
Full toss, played away on the offside. The sweeper's coming around. They should get 2 here. Yes, and comfortably back for the second by Bevan. Vikramasinghe being brought back into the short third man position. They've swapped him around. Oh, and he's nearly got him. He slipped, I think. Well, that is a very close call. We'll come back and have a look at that in a minute. It's 213 for 8. And there it is, Rifle on 3 now, Bevan on 21. 213 for 7. 4 overs to be bowled. And that's nicely played by Rifle into the gap. Well, we saw Kalu Udharana pull off a miraculous stumping to get rid of Sachin Tendulkar. This is almost a repeat of that. He fumbled that one and he just couldn't quite get there.
This revival by Sri Lanka has certainly brought the crowd alive and brought them into the game. Called wide by umpire Buckmore. Actually, weren't quite sure in the early stages who they were really supporting. I'm not sure yet we really know who the crowd are supporting, but I think they were a bit worried at one stage that the game was getting right away from Sri Lanka and we were going to see a no contest. And now they realise that this match is very much on.
Is it ever? And they'll also be looking forward to watching Kaluwitharana, Jayasuriya, those little dynamos opening the batting as well. So much depends on them, although they were both out very quickly against India and still won. That's a big wide.
So I think Aravinda there might have been thinking that Rifle was going to come at him. We've even got the skipper diving now. Replace the divot, Arjuna.
Well, he did well there. And back to Aravinda, and that was well fielded as well. Pretty firmly struck, nice timing, and he was across very quickly. That's beaten the outside edge. 4 off that over, 217 for 7. So 3 overs to go now, 217 for 7. In these batting conditions, one wouldn't have thought that's enough. As Ian Chappell pointed out, at one stage they looked as if they were going to get a huge score. And we've had a go at this one down the ground, one bounce to Gurusingha, and his throw will come in quickly, so just one. So I think they've decided now that it's wind-up time.
Bevan could be dangerous in these overs. He can be dangerous anytime, but he's so fast he can get twos and maintain the strike, which will be important for Australia.
It's well played. Rifle getting that one away behind square, nicely into the gap. He'll come back for a comfortable 2. Yes, he's certainly no mug with the bat, Paul Rifle. Since he's been out there, he's timed it pretty well.
Yes, a wicket here would really help get Rifle out, because then they get to Fleming and McGrath, and the Sri Lankans could probably contain them, but Rifle is quite a useful batsman. You can expect him to get a fair number in this situation.
He's trying to sweep that one away. An optimistic appeal from little Kaluwitharana behind the stumps. A 1 leg bye to the total. 221 for 7 now. After this over, there'll be 2 more. Will the pressure of the final get to the Sri Lankans? Will the Aussies rise to the occasion in the field? Can they do to these guys what they did to the West Indies? How much will Warne spin it out there? Those are some of the questions.
They're quite prepared to give Bevan the single, trying to stop the boundaries.
He certainly won't drop it short. He's over-pitching rather than under-pitching, which is not a bad idea. And what's more, he's bowling it quite fast too, Jayasuriya.
Umpire Shepherd just doing a little hop there with the score on 222.
So one more, 223 for 7.
It's a 5-star Mazda. We've extended the Mazda 5-star summer, so you can still save on the Zippy 121 at $15,790 drive away, and the 323 at a run-out drive away price of $20,690. The Protege shades from $25,685 including air. The stunning Estina shades from $28,990 with air. Or the 5-star.
So just 2 overs to go now. 223. They need a couple of big overs, the Australians. They'll be looking for them all right. Aravinda is going to continue with his off spinners. There's a big gap straight down the ground. 3 men saving one on the onside there. If he hits it straight over that sign in the field, in the middle of the field, it'll go for 4. And those are the 2 outfieldsmen on the offside. Straight to mid-wicket and a fumble.
Australia won the World Cup final in 1987. As we see that fumble. That match was played at Eden Gardens, the final, Australia versus England. Australia batted first on that occasion. 253 they made off the 50 overs. And England fell 7 short. Michael Bevan and Paul Rifle are going to have to do something spectacular to get up to the 250 mark here in Lahore.
They'll be looking for the second here. Bevan touchdown. Back he comes. He's very quick. He'll be home comfortably. Didn't even stretch.
Well, they picked their man. Fast bowler Wickramasinghe, not the best of fielders in the Sri Lankan side.
He's had a go at that one. It'll bounce down towards deep mid-wicket. And that time they'll settle for 1. So Bevan now gets a chance. Yes, he's really going to have a go now. I'm just trying to work out where I think he's going to hit this one. He loves playing it away on the onside for ones, but he might go straight down the ground. We saw him win a match for Australia, hitting the ball straight over low and straight over the top of the umpire's head. There's a bit of a gap for him there if he hits it nice and straight and flat. He's having a glance down towards square leg. He's got inside out that one, and that's well played. That's very well played. Inside out, and he's whacked that one away down towards deep extra cover. Did it go all the way? Don't think so. Just short of the fence at deep extra cover.
Yes, he's very quick on his feet, Michael Bevan, and he times his moves extremely well. That one landing just a metre short. He doesn't give the bowler a real sign until it's too late for the bowler to do anything about it.
Aravinda Silva just holding that one back, just to see if he could get some idea of what he was going to do. He does do it very late. He's now pausing, having another little look around, and over his bat he goes. Aravinda again. Once again he gives it a bit of room. Once again plays it away on the offside. Nicely picked up that time by Wickramasinghe. So 10
final.
So 1 over to go. 233 for 7 Australia. They were put in by the Sri Lankans, and this is now going to be the last over. It's going to be bowled by Jayasuriya, and on strike at the moment is Michael Bevan. That's the outfield which we reckon could end up getting a little bit of moisture onto it, a little bit of dew perhaps, although there is a bit of cloud cover around. So Jayasuriya will be off the ground and strapping the pads on before too long.
Might just stop for a bit of Alu Paratha first before he puts the pads on, Greggy.
Yeah, no doubt. Laced with a bit of porridge, I reckon. Here we go, last over. Once again, giving it room. That's well played. He's hit that one away square. Will the fielder gets to it? I don't think he will. That's very well played by Michael Bevan. Backing away again, smashing it square on the offside. It looks as if that's where he fancies himself most. There are 3 men back on the leg side, so this is what he decided to do.
He really is the best batsman in one-day cricket when it comes to scoring runs in the late overs. He finds a way to reach the boundaries. His first boundary was in that last over. Now he's managed to find a second one, and he's really got Arjuna Ranatunga thinking. He's made him change his tactics and bring an extra man across to the offside. Obviously the original idea for Sri Lanka was to dart them in at leg stump.
He's backed off again and tried to smash it away on the offside, but that is a better delivery right up there. Followed him a little bit.
And they're telling the man at deep mid-off, Chaminda Vas, stop the twos.
1-2, well bowled. It's away down to mid-on. Guru Singh coming in there. So what can Paul Rifle do now?
Well, they were desperate to get Rifle on strike and get Bevan away, so I think that's a tribute to Bevan himself, because Paul Rifle is no slouch with the bat. But they obviously consider him a lot easier to shut down than Michael Bevan. If they can keep it under 250, I would think Sri Lanka would have to be delighted after the early situation, because Australia appeared to be heading for something like 290 and maybe even 300 if things went really well.
It's going to go over his head. It's just bounced into this hard surface, and they've ended up settling for 1. So 2 balls to go now.
Jayasuriya just gritting his teeth there. I think he felt he was a little unlucky that that one bounced over his head, and he was desperate to keep Michael Bevan away from the strike in his last 2 deliveries. And they'll be keen to just let him get a 1 off this one.
He's played a clever little shot there and well fielded. I think that is Vikramasinghe there diving away to his right. That is very well done.
Well, fortunately he's a tall man. He was just able to dive and get an arm on it. It was very quick thinking from Michael Bevan. You could see a boundary coming up there. Whew, he just got a hand on it. Absolute desperation there from Vikramasinghe. That's a good effort.
So this is the last ball of the Australian innings. Rifle driving. They'll come back for the second. No, they won't. They're settling for 1. Arjuna's got it, and that's the end of that. So Australia 241 for 7, and I think that Arjuna Ranatunga will be very happy with that when one considers the start made by the Australians.
Well, I think that's a bit of an indication of what the Sri Lankans think. They're all clapping each other out there. I think they're absolutely delighted to get out under 250. And you've got to give a lot of credit to the man in the middle there, Arjuna Ranatunga. Sure, the bowlers took wickets, Aravinda De Silva and Jayasuriya taking catches as well as wickets, but the captain held his nerve at a very important time, and I think that they're pretty happy that they've got out for under 250.